What? Where am I?
Hello, Mr. Frederick Douglass. I want to play a game.
Who are you? What's going on?
Just call me the surgeon. I repair cracks in time.
You are insane. Get me out of here.
I'm afraid the doors are sealed. I have stolen you from 1847 to prove a point, and the only way out is to play my game. So, how about it?
Fine, as long as it will let me leave.
Perfect. You can leave as long as you can beat me in a little debate. You have to prove that the Constitution of the United States is anti-slavery. If you can. Good luck.
Now this, I can do. I partook in a debate with my partner Samuel Ward which was later titled, Resolved, that the Constitution of the United States, in letter, spirit, and design, is essentially anti-slavery. Only a few months prior, I believe that the Constitution is not only inherently anti-slavery through its very purpose, but the Founding Fathers were essentially anti-slavery as well.
This is too easy. Several of the Founding Fathers owned slaves and thus supported slavery. I'm afraid it's time to die, Mr. Douglass.
Not so fast, surgeon. Slavery as an institution was widely accepted at the time, and while many people at the time owned slaves for monetary wealth and political power, many of the Founding Fathers such as Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin adamantly fought for abolition. In fact, the Founding Fathers, as framers of the Constitution, went out of their way to use words in the Constitution that would not conjure images of slavery.
It appears as if you will not be beaten so easily, Mr. Douglass. But then, Mr. Douglass, how do you explain the 3/5 clause that considered slaves as lesser beings?
Why, that's simply too simple, you simple simpleton. It is clearly pro-slavery, because although non-free men, as the Constitution did not directly address slaves, are denied 2/5 of their person, this is to some extent an anti-slavery act as it grants the free states 2/5 extra representation over the slave states, as the 3/5 clause only applies to blacks in bondage. In addition, despite claiming slaves to be worth only 3/5 of free men, never does the Constitution prohibit an African American to vote.
I will give you that, Mr. Douglass. Africans may not be prohibited to vote, but what specifically allows them to vote? I bet you can't answer that. Now can you?
Actually, I believe that right is guaranteed under the preamble of the Constitution that begins with, "We the people," and as slaves are always spoken of as persons in the document, the same word used to describe national officials such as the president. Slaves fall under the protection of the entire Constitution. The Constitution was written in such a way that not a single letter had to have been changed to end slavery, promote black citizenship, or to allow an African American to hold office. As such, the framers truly did accept blacks as not only people, but American citizens.
You're very cunning, Mr. Douglass, but I am not finished yet. I point, in rebuttal, the Fugitive Slave Act that required escaped slaves to be returned to their owners. Clearly that is a pro-slavery decree.
Ho-hum. The Fugitive Slave Act was a way to limit state authority and not to be seen as a pro-slavery declaration. Despite being marketed as a protection of slave property by lawyers and Southern politicians who coined the term fugitive slave provision, the first draft of the clause, then utilizing the term servitude, was rejected by the Constitution's framers because they believed that it conjured ideas of slavery. Due to its wording, the clause only referred to indentured apprentices or any other worker serving under contract. I believe that the framers worded the Constitution in such a way that would avoid granting any sort of legitimacy to slavery. In fact, the Constitution, as written by the Founding Fathers, did not truly encroach upon the rights of African Americans, but may have been interpreted as such by pro-slavery institutions. Through the very letter, spirit, and design of the Constitution as well as the beliefs of its framers, the United States Constitution is an anti-slavery document.
You have bested me at my own game, Douglass. Your opinions on the United States Constitution are in fact true beyond your knowledge. I will let you go.
But who are you, surgeon? And how do you know that?
I was there, at the writing of the Constitution of the United States.
But how?
Because you're dreaming, Frederick. So, rise and shine, Mr. Douglass. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest. And all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until, well, let's just say your hour has come. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So, wake up, Mr. Douglass. Wake up and smell the ashes.